Unusual to see you all here.
Just standing here for all weekend.
There'd be more of us if you were leaving.
Not many.
Brigadier, why is your deputy?
Which reminds me, I had another announcement to make.
Brigadier, why is your deputy leaving?
Well, Jessica has been the deputy of the Premier for 6 years now. I think she felt it was important for her to leave early in a term. She talked to me about this before the election. Felt it was important for deputies actually to actually leave at a transition period. The fact of the matter is we faced significant budget challenges in February. We saw those exacerbated in May. She wanted to be here throughout the staff adjustment program, and she's done that. And she feels, and I have given her all my support, she's decided it's time for her to move on.
Whose initiative was this?
Well, Jessica, it's something Jessica talked to me about actually quite some time ago. We talked about it more in the spring, and the decision was all hers. I always say to the staff that are with me, you've got to make the right decisions for yourself, for your family, for what's good for you, and we'll work with it. I think she's done an exceptional job in the public service. I think we've had the real benefits of a great public servant leader, and she'll certainly be missed by all of us, but it was her decision.
She was also sort of instrumental in the raises for the deputies. She chose not to take them herself, but argued that you needed to pay more to keep top bureaucrats around. Is there any irony here?
No, I don't think there's any irony at all. As I say, I think that she has always been someone who wants to lead the public service by example. She has, I think, done an exceptional job. She was clear last year she wasn't taking any increase for herself. She didn't want anyone to think that there was anything self-serving in the recommendations that were made. Her passion has been the public service. And I think when you see that we've been designated as one of British Columbia's top employers, when we've seen employment engagement go up substantially under her leadership, she really has done a great job, and she's recognized across the country for that job.
Premier, is there any significance to the fact that Alan Seckel is going to replace her in one of the top legal minds in BC, Deputy Attorney General for all these years? Is there a reason that he's been selected to replace her in particular?
Yeah, I think Alan has been involved across government. He's got a very good mind. He's very focused on not just on detail, but on success, on moving things ahead. His 6 years in British Columbia as Deputy Attorney General, I think, we've been incredibly well served. He's someone who has the confidence, I'm sure, of the deputy ministers, and he certainly has the confidence of Cabinet and myself.
Will he be paid the same as she was when she left?
No, his salary will be $295,000 a year. That's about $10,000 less than the city manager is paid in Vancouver, and it's in the middle of the pack in terms of deputy ministers across the country.
Some might say that it's odd for Jessica McDonald to be leaving at a time when your government is in turbulence. Most civil servants don't leave at times of turbulence; they leave at times of, rest.
Times of rest. Well, I don't know when there is a time of rest in a government, but I'm sure if there was, that everyone would decide to leave. The job is never done. The fact of the matter is, when you're deputy minister to a premier, to any premier, you're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. It is an incredibly taxing job, and we've been very fortunate to have someone with Jessica McDonald's talents in that job. I think the important thing for her is to recognize that she did actually want to do the critical job to her, which was the staff adjustments as we went through this period. She's done those now, and she'll now have the opportunity to go and think about what she'd like to do next in her career.
So why is Alan Seckel getting paid more?
Lined up, Premier?
Pardon me?
Does she have anything exciting and new lined up?
No, as you know, there are restrictions on that. You're not a senior public servant is not to go and work with someone they've had substantial contact with. That would be something would be a challenge. I think also, to be fair, it'd be a very difficult job to be going and looking for jobs as a deputy minister to a premier. So she is going to be here for a 90-day transition period to offer Alan Seckel support. She will have an opportunity to look at that point once she decides where she wants to go. If in fact there's an area where there could be a perceived conflict, she has to get permission from the Premier's office for the first 12 months.
Why is Alan being paid more?
Well, as you know, when we set the deputy minister's salaries, we did set a range for the deputy minister to the premier. He's still substantially below that range of deputy minister to the premier, but it's I think, a fair and equitable salary for someone to take on that responsibility.
But why is he being paid more than Jessica? Because she had that same responsibility.
Well, as you know, last year when Ms. McDonald made the decisions and we, Cabinet made the decisions. She felt it was important to send the message. This wasn't about securing her personal increase in her salary. It was about maintaining and retaining the public service and building a strong public service for the future.
And does that change now? I mean, she had tried to minimize layoffs in the public sector over the last few months. With her leaving, does that indicate any kind of change? Are there more broad-based cuts coming?
No. In fact, I think that the reason that she feels that this is an appropriate time for her to leave is that we have actually carried through a significant amount of labor force adjustments, so there's minimal impacts on the public service as a result of the challenges we face with regard to the budget. That's where the government has gone, is where the government's going. Alan Seckel will pick those things up, and as she said, he'll bring his own perspectives on how we can accomplish the goals we've set for ourselves as government.
She's not someone who's
Last
known
question.
really outside the building. To the average British Columbian who wouldn't know much about her, what she does, what's the contribution that she leaves?
Well, she's made an enormous contribution in a number of areas, so I'll just go through a few of them. First of all, I think that we've been able to bring together, we're probably one of the first jurisdictions that's brought together the idea that the economy and the environment work together. It's not one or the other, it's both. She led that initiative with regard to the Central Coast in British Columbia. She's carried that on, and I think we're now recognized as using the environment to build our economy for the future. She's was a very important part of our environmental and economic strategy, very important part of building the foundation for a new relationship. Very important, I think, in terms of her commitment to the public service and strengthening the public service and bringing the public service fully into play in terms of what government does. We're exceptionally well served by that, and that's something that's been, I think, recognized nationally. You don't get recognized by national organizations because you're not being a leader. I think it's important for people to know we've had a real leader in the public service. There's not one person in the public service that won't miss the kind of contribution Jessica McDonald made, and Alan Seckel now has the opportunity to carry on and make significant contributions himself. Thank you very much. You said last question.
I did. Sorry. Tom was standing behind.
Did you try to talk her out of it?
Sorry, Tom's got the last question, Bob.
You've had another You've had another deputy transfer to your office, Lauren Brownsey.
Yeah.
Is that an expansion of things there, and is that a new emphasis on Aboriginal relations?
No, it's about cross-government initiatives that we're doing across the government, whether it's the Aboriginal initiatives we have or other initiatives across ministries. We wanted to have an experienced minister that could help in terms of some of the project orientation we have, and Lauren will make a great contribution there.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Let me just answer that question. The fair answer to the question is, I obviously would have loved it for Jessica to have stayed. But I do say to staff, it's up to you to decide what's best for you. She's given us 6 years of her life, an enormous contribution. And so I think it's a little selfish for me to say to people, no, it's easier for me if you stay. I think she's just done, I can't tell you what a great job I think she's done in the public service. And I'm looking forward to working with Alan Seckel. I think he'll make a great contribution as well. But I would love Jessica to have stayed. I think that she's made the right decision for her, and I'll do everything I can to support it.